Welcome to the Traveling Perspectives podcast. In this episode, I talk with Jeremy Green, the creator behind the Jeremy Talks to Strangers Instagram account. Jeremy started his account as a challenge to himself to fight his social anxiety, and he now shares his insights on his podcast, The Social Ninjas, co-hosted with his friend Kyle Mitchell. During our conversation, Jeremy and I talk about stories from our travels, our journeys of finding self-love, and how we all need to take more reps. You'll understand what taking more reps means a little bit later on in the episode, so here is Jeremy's perspective.
What's up, brother?
Hey, how are you, man?
Hold on. Hello?
All right, awesome. There we go. Yeah.
Is this better?
Yeah, perfect. I can see you clearly, hear you perfectly.
Yeah! Harry!
Awesome. It's good to meet you, man.
It's good to meet you.
So what was that graphic, the Social Ninjas?
Well, that's a podcast I co-host. It's a podcast on mental health and self-improvement, and it is hosted by myself and my co-host Kyle, and we both were very challenged with social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a lot of work to get past it, and now we help other people. Now we we have the podcast, The Social Ninjas, and we were like trying to build. We're building a business around it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man. How did you and Kyle meet?
Dude, we met like on Instagram.
Really? Wow.
He actually, I think.
Well, us as well, right? So.
Yeah, I never actually met him in person, but I quote unquote I've known him for a few years now, and I saw his passion of social anxiety and helping people, and I was like, "What? Me too." So then,
just aligned.
It aligned. Yeah, it started out as a Instagram live, and we're super nervous about.
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
And then it turned into, let's do a podcast, just me and you. So we did a certain amount of episodes, just him and I, and we would go online and like pick subjects like confidence and like anything. Like we'd ask the people what they wanted. So, and we were like, let's try to bring on guests. That'd be kind of cool. And we were nervous because we didn't know whether it was going to work, because we were going to talk over each other. All the stuff comes out, but actually it was very organic, because I'm more of a extrovert and he's more the introvert. Such a good team.
Yeah, that's a perfect combo right there.
It is.
Nice. So I was looking through our DMs just to see like how we originally met, and I guess was it Tim's one friend a day Instagram maybe, or
either him or Rob 10K, I'm not sure.
Right, yeah. And then Cam
Love that
commented.
guy.
Yeah. So how do you know Cam? I'm actually meeting him tomorrow, so I haven't talked to him yet, but he's doing this podcast tomorrow, so I'll get to hear his story as well.
I met him Instagram through, I think it was also Rob 10K, and I feel like the people that meet Rob 10K, just, in my opinion, is they're more open to just breaking barriers and talking, and I think it's a great resource.
Yeah. Have you been a part of Rob's project, or?
Yeah, I met him a year and some change ago in person in Los Angeles.
Very cool.
Right before I was going to leave on my 5-month solo. Actually, it was supposed to be 3 months, and then in Asia I was gonna go solo. I got featured on the news on ABC7 for my Jeremy Talks to Strangers Instagram.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, oh, people actually like this. I was just doing it to challenge myself. And then I was like, I need to go bigger. So I ended up just spontaneously booking. I couldn't sleep one night. I was in like a weird mood. I was like, I need to do something in my life. I can't just stay in my comfort zone. And you gotta go in Messenger, and then it's like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I can't sleep.
Right.
And I reached out to a buddy of mine who I hadn't talked to in years, and apparently he had been traveling the world for the last 13 months.
Whoa.
I got goosebumps. I was like, I have to do this. I really want to do this before I
Mm-hmm.
get too old. So I spontaneously booked a ticket to Asia, to Taiwan. It was like a
Okay.
3 month, and I was just go around Asia and then come back to Taiwan 3 months later.
And you extended that trip, or that's when?
Well, I extended it 2 more months, but 3 days after I extended it 2 more months, I was in
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam going on a crazy 3 day motorbike trek through like
Oh,
the
that's
Hazong
awesome.
Mountains next to the Chinese border with some strangers I had just met
Wow.
in Hanoi, and I just
Okay.
I've done Europe by myself for two
Mm-hmm.
months, but I had it like pretty planned. I changed a little bit, but Asia, I'm gonna go with the flow and see who I meet, and based off who I meet, that's where my travels are gonna go.
Awesome. And so, yeah, I've had, I just came back actually from teaching English in Israel, and some people that were a part of the program, the teaching program over there, had done that motorbike trail across in Asia. And
Incredible.
yeah, did you do that? Is that what that trip that you did
So
as well? Or?
yes, so like a few days into my extension,
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna be in Vietnam for a month, and I ended up breaking my leg. I fell off the motorbike
Oh
like
no.
towards the end of day two,
Okay.
and yeah, I was like in a random village and hung out there for an additional like week, and like
Wow.
some guy who owned a restaurant and a hostel took me in and took care of the bike, and just
Mm,
I felt like the movie The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
right.
It's like I'm getting super humbled by this just beautiful family, and
Someone just takes you in and helps you out on your way.
yeah,
Mm,
so that was pretty incredible. And I actually just got back from Taiwan. I was there a month ago.
okay.
I was teaching English.
Really?
I was incredible. Taiwan is incredible.
Yeah. How was that experience?
Oh, the very beginning was depressing and challenging, and I, to be honest, I really like looked. It forced me to look at mortality right in the face for some reason, just because I was
Why?
so
Why
out
do
of
you
my
think?
comfort zone.
Mm,
I was just out of my element, my covers,
yeah.
my fluff, and
How did you end up teaching English over there? Was there like a program that you were going with, or?
um, I started subbing to kind of see if I really wanted to commit to a year.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I was still like back and forth, and then I like subbed for a few months. I did like like some journeys. I did some trips, 2 day bicycle rides, 200 kilometers in the most beautiful parts of Taiwan. And I found it to be at first very challenging. Like just I had no friends. I went to an entirely new country. I didn't know anyone,
Mm-hmm.
so that was depressing. Like I felt alone, and I felt like all my friends kind of just moved on. This is all in my head, but I'm sure they didn't. So that
Yeah.
was a hard pill to swallow. And just like life's not forever. Like really set in. Like holy crap.
Mm,
And then I was almost 3 months in, and I was about to sign a contract to get an ARC, get my permanent or residency. And that's when the coronavirus started. And people were really nervous in Taiwan, like, oh, Taiwan's right next to China.
right.
And Taiwan's like the safest place in the world right now, basically, as far
Mm.
as the coronavirus.
They've had a good
And
response to everything going on.
incredible. And people take it seriously, and there's so much respect, and everyone wears masks, and they're not like, I can't wear these masks. Like, why are you gonna tell me not to? Like, it's just so. I love their respect, and just like, it's such a collectivist society. Like, it's all about like the collection of individuals. It's not an individualistic society. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that aspect because I'm very like collectivist, tribe oriented.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the U.S. was like all U.S. citizens need to come home.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And so that's when you came
as we
home
as when I came
yourself.
home the next day. Once they made that announcement, they're like, all U.S. citizens need to come home, or else we can't protect you if it hits the fan.
And was that in March of this year, or when did that
This is
happen?
about a month ago, so
Oh, wow.
a little over a month.
Okay.
Uh,
So where are you now?
I'm in Los Angeles,
Okay.
and
Is that where you're
yeah,
from originally, or?
yeah, born and raised. How
Born
about
and
you?
raised. Yeah, from Tampa, Florida. Born and raised.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I came home and I just kind of been going all out with the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just loving it. It's
Nice.
I've learned so much, and I've connected with some amazing people.
Yeah. So you said that you have guests on sometimes, or
A
is it
lot.
mainly a lot of the time? Okay.
Because of the coronavirus, everyone's home.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had as many as 3 guests per day.
Wow.
In a day, and they're an hour long usually.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then there's editing and releasing and everything
Of
beyond it,
course,
and
all the back end
promoting.
kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and then I have a thing I added on where I actually do a social. So we'll have someone on the podcast, and then we kind of like a record release party.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put on a Zoom social, and people will come and see their magic, and I love holding a space for other people's magic.
That's cool. So I haven't used Zoom Social. So is that when people just come in like one at a time, or is it just a bunch of people, or?
I just what I call it. It's just you come in. It's just a social where a bunch of people come in, and then the person who just had their podcast episode released will just like show their magic. And it was just an idea I came up with for fun, and I really enjoy it. Like I had a guy who invented like a card game called Ask the Questions, and it's about not having small talk.
Okay.
And he came on and did his little thing with like breakout rooms and help people kind of have deeper conversations.
Very cool.
Just really amazing people. I have a call, and I keep in contact. Like I love challenging myself to have like a quick one-on-one video chat, like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that when I went to look at your calendars, like 15-minute increments. So
yeah.
What do you do with your 15 minutes?
It's a combination of things. I want to inspire people to like reach out to people when it's uncomfortable. I want to inspire people to breathe into their value. I want to inspire people not to put people on the pedestal. I want to inspire people to feel like they matter, and I'm going to inspire myself. This is the same like elements. I had for a long time. I felt less than. I felt like I didn't have any value. I felt alone, and so I've done this challenge after challenge, like the free hugs across the world, and interviewing celebrities, and just random challenges to really get over my social anxiety. And I'll catch up with them just to like prove a point that like stop putting people on the pedestal. People are great. People are amazing. Deep down, we're all great. We're just every race, every culture, we're all the same. Some are. There's not people that say there's good and bad. I more like to believe in good and challenged.
So I guess that's a good segue like into your Instagram account, and I guess I'm kind of curious, like what were the origins of the project? Like why did you start it in the first place? Has it always been Jeremy Meets Strangers?
Talks to Strangers?
Yeah.
Jeremy Talks to Strangers actually started it was a combination of practicing interviewing people, just normal people, for a gig interviewing celebrities on the red carpet.
Okay.
And then it kind of just turned into what it is now, like, inspiring more authentic human connection and self-love. And I think it's evolved. I did the gig. I interviewed celebrities on the red carpet, and it was kind of, I got like a little bit of a high, but then it was just empty. It was like an empty high.
Yeah.
Like it felt like all the people on the red carpet already had their answers prepped, and it just felt very fabricated. And I actually enjoyed talking to normal, quote, normal
right.
human beings more. They're just more real. And then it turned into, I started social coaching, helping people who have trouble connecting, people who have social anxiety, people who don't love themselves. I've done some dating coaching as well. I've helped guys do some dating coaching, and most of dating coaching is kind of like just stepping into their power, not stepping into their power, but more step into their worth, their self-love. It all starts from self-love, to be honest. It sounds cliche, but it's so true. I used to think it's cliche, and then I went to some retreat where they like did some work where I finally knew what self-love was or how it felt. This is like literally like 2 or 3 years ago. I really knew what it felt like at that deep level. I was like, whoa. And I really saw how like my ability to hold the space for others just shot up, and how much I cared what other people thought, just went down.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I love myself, I don't care what people think, because the people that are going to judge me, they're not my flavor. They're not my people I want in my life.
Yeah.
So I sometimes.
What's been your journey of self-love? Like, how did you work on it yourself, or and find the like headspace or the means to share your knowledge with others?
Good question. Just a combination of, I've had therapy. I think it's so. I don't like the fact that there's a taboo about, like, I go to therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, I think everyone should go to a therapist. It's like, I went to the gym today. Oh, nice, good job. Like, I can't wait till we get to the world where I went to the therapist. Really nice, good job. Like,
yeah, like exercise your body just as much as your mind. Yeah,
it's so. I think it's ridiculous. Like, I literally felt nervous telling you that right now,
mm-hmm.
and that's just this. I know, like, deep down, it's great that I'm sharing it with you, but I still have that, like societal ingrained message of, if
Right.
I go to the therapist, something's wrong with me,
mm-hmm.
which is ridiculous. Like,
I mean, yeah, I've tried it a couple times myself. Maybe I haven't found the right person to help me.
There's some therapists are better than others. So I don't like to say, like, I went to a therapist, therapy doesn't work. No, every therapist is different.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to really.
How did you find the right person for you?
Most of my therapists actually come for, like, my mom. My mom's just like, she has her master's in counseling.
Really?
So she's been to a lot of therapists, and she has a really good read on skill set. She's pretty good.
Yeah. Is that what she does for a career then as well? Or?
She's retired, but she was she was a truant officer. Like, when kids weren't going to school, she would go to the houses, the homes with the kids not going to school, and try to fix the problems so that the kid could start going to school.
Wow.
But there's magic in therapy. I remember
Yeah.
I was in college and had just broken up with a girlfriend, and I realized that my college, UCSD, have free therapy as part of my tuition. And I'm like, I gotta get the most of my money. So I went to a therapist as kind of like a joke. I was like, I want to get my money's worth,
Mm-hmm.
And then I went, and then I, like, cried. And after the therapy session, I was kind of like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
this is amazing.
Were you hooked since then?
Kind of on and off. I'm not seeing a therapist right now, but I have nothing against it. It's just more financial.
Gotcha.
And I know there's cheap options. Like, I go to grad students, and it's like $10 a session for a grad student.
Right.
And then I do go to men's groups. I do go to the Mankind Project at least once a week. Sometimes last week I went to 4 meetings.
What is that?
Mankind Project is a worldwide nonprofit organization where just everyday normal dudes go, and it starts with, like, an initiation, which is called New Warrior Training Adventure. And you have your initiation, and it's all about, like, getting rid of toxic masculinity and really, like, stepping into your power and, like, what's your purpose in your life. And that's just a little bit of it. And then we go to weekly meetings, and you just, like, kind of build a safe container and talk, like, you really in a safe way, talk about your feelings and what's something you want to work on, and you process old stuff that's preventing you from stepping into that new, you that you want to become. Or there's so much more to it. It's just kind of a summary.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I feel like there is a pretty big, like, stigma, even just about men talking about this kind of topic, that for some reason, maybe it's just the house that I grew up in, or it's not like that for me, which I'm very appreciative of. But it seems like you're doing the work for yourself and for others to change that mindset, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely realized this recently. I had this amazing TEDx speaker yesterday, and we're talking about mental health, and I'm like, wow, things are changing. And I realized I was kind of in a bubble. I realized that just, like, the people I've had on the podcast or like the difference. So then I definitely saw myself generalizing, saying, wow, it's making so much progress. Because sometimes I'll look for people on the podcast to come on, and I typed in, like, hashtag mental health, and it's maybe 99% women.
Really?
yeah, and I was like, what is this? And I was judging, like a lot of them were all in like bikinis and everything, and I'm like,
yeah, the picture doesn't
what?
match up to the message,
No, it doesn't.
yeah,
And I know it's a judgment. I totally own that.
sure,
But it's more so like I want there to be a balance. Like I
mm,
think I went on a podcast recently and where he's asked me like the difference between masculinity and femininity. It's like, and he's separated. He's like femininity in women, masculinity in women and men. I think there's both in both sexes.
mm-hmm.
I think they're
So
just different
yeah,
energies.
definitely, I agree. Um, so what's like a topic that you've been covering on the podcast lately? Has it been like a recurring thing or
No, that's what I
no?
love about it. Like it's a whole plethora of different people. We've had over 10 TEDx speakers
Wow.
so far. Yeah, it's like that's to me. I reached out to all these like amazing people I never thought would
Mm,
respond, just to like try and inspire other people to not put people on a pedestal. And
yeah.
I was completely right. Like we just released an episode. I want to go over it because I don't want to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
We had like dating apps and anxiety, how to deal
Mm-hmm.
with confrontation, self-acceptance versus self-improvement, and then we have like public speaking with social anxiety, and then we got into we talked about food and what healthy food you can eat for your anxiety and your overall mental health, and then we got into having guests, and then our first guest was a therapist. She talked about anxiety therapy for anxiety and mental health, and then we got into like being your best self, and then we got into we had our first TEDx speaker who's like my close friend now, Gary Ware,
Mm,
and his whole thing is purposeful play and how important purposeful play is as an adult. Like as soon as we're adults, we're not kids anymore. We just I can't play anymore. Like and like so much research has been done to show that putting some play in your life makes so many benefits
mm,
from creativity to satisfaction to confidence to like literally everything, and it's crazy. And then we've had like TV writer producers talk about like framing and self-forgiveness, and
mm-hmm.
we got into and on and on and on. We've had the guy I told you about, the meaningful conversations, and then
Right.
we had a brother and sister who did an anxiety book for children, a children's book, and then we did like one for on nootropics. You know what nootropics are?
No, I don't.
Cognitive enhancing supplements.
Mm,
So it's not like taking Prozac or anything like that. And then we've had one like how to step into your purpose, and she's a coach. And we've had like breath work, and then we've had like talking about perfectionism, goal setting, and a bunch of other stuff. Like we've had a lot, like a plethora
yeah.
of guests.
Covering a lot of topics for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What's something then that you've done as purposeful play or something that you're working on now?
It's a good question. I have a like this towel, and it's kind of like looks colorful,
Mm-hmm.
and I like even when I'm in the worst of moods, I'll force myself to like woo! Just act like a child, or I'm like at a party and I'm
Uh-huh.
having a great time. I call it the party towel.
Bring out the party towel.
Just like doing my thing. Just how powerful it is. Like if I'm cleaning, I'm like putting my underwear in the bottom thing. Do 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 do. Like, what harm am I doing? None.
Right.
And I
Just
have like
being
a
silly for the hell of it.
yeah, just setting a time to be silly. And how does that
Mm-hmm.
look? Like everyone's different. And if you listen to the episode, he breaks it down like the types of personalities and which one who are you, or combination. He kind of supports you in like figuring out what kind of play you should put in your life depending on like your personality, because we're all different.
Nice. And so are you messaging these people to come on your podcast through Instagram or
Instagram.
yeah? Who's like your dream guest?
My dream guest?
Yeah.
That's hard because I don't like I said, I don't like to put people on the pedestal.
Sure. But maybe somebody that you admire or their work or
That's a great question. I would, that's hard.
if you don't have to, maybe there's more than one, you can think
It'd
about
be
it.
cool that maybe cool that Tony Robbins. That'd be pretty badass.
Yeah,
Tony
absolutely.
Robbins, that'd be pretty crazy. There's the lady, Annette, what's her name? She wrote "Dying to Live," which is a powerful book. Shaka Bajante. He does Hidden Brain. He'd be sweet. I love his voice. He's so awesome.
Yeah. Well, manifest it, man.
Manifest. I've reached out to some people. Like I've literally, I've had someone on the podcast, and she does improv. She's been an improv teacher for over 10 years. And we did a like an improv session as a social as part of her her episode. And I like reached out to the best improv, in my opinion, people in the world. I messaged all of them. I mean, none of them responded, but I don't one of the themes. Like we have a lot of themes and things I'm learning. Like the reason I podcast is to create authentic have some authentic connection, but also learn.
And how did you get interested in like YouTube and the podcasting space, and what sparked your interest in that?
I've always been just like passionate about self-improvement, because just since I've got to that place of self-hate and like I don't matter and all that other stuff. And I've done retreat after retreat after retreat. I've done a 10-day silent meditation retreat where.
Really? Somebody suggested me when I was in Israel. They suggested that I go do one of those.
Dude, it was the most challenging / powerful experience of my life.
Really? Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with that?
Yeah, of course. So it was in Joshua Tree.
Oh, and, perfect place.
Yeah. And Vipassana meditation is like the most one of the most pure forms of meditation. Is actually the Buddha did it. The Buddha. And this is the guy who's like his name is S.N. Goenka. He kind of made it more worldwide. He's this guy from India. And you go there and you're literally meditating close to 11 hours a day.
Wow.
Yes, you're waking up at like 4:30 a.m. something like that. And
how many people are you with?
So these guys are separate. So guys are one side, girls on the other. You don't talk. You don't acknowledge each other. You don't even hold the door. You're not supposed to hold the door open for anyone. Like you're on your own journey.
So and, how do you know the rules if nobody's talking?
You go there's a meditation room, and then there's a food room, and then there's a sleep room. Super simple, and they kind of show you the schedule, and they have a guy comes around with like you have no phones, obviously. They take your phones and everything. Your wallet, they take everything. And you're not supposed to write even, and they come around like what's it called? They hit the gong or so the gong. He comes around and like wake up. It's time to wake up. And as soon as you wake up, you have like 30 minutes to go into the meditation room, and you meditate from like 4:30 a.m. 5 for 2 hours, and that's like the quick meditation, 2 hours in a row.
Just a quick 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah. And then we do breakfast, and then a little bit of break, and then you literally meditate all the way until 10 p.m. For 10 days straight.
Wow. The same thing every day?
Yeah, well, not the same thing every day, but it starts off by like, I'll tell you the first one. There's like different levels, different meditations. The first one is just concentration meditation, and that's like concentrating on your upper lip and nose, and you just put your attention here like as much as you can. And as soon as you have, so of course you're gonna think about something else, and you don't. It's really important. Don't react when you're thinking about something else. Like the first feeling is to get mad at yourself. Like, no, you're supposed to put your attention here, Jeremy. But it's like, no, you just without reacting, just go back here. And then every time you go right, just without reacting, you go right back to like your upper lip, nose. It's called Anapana meditation. And you just like put your attention there over and over. And the more you do it, you can actually train. It's called the monkey brain. You train your monkey brain. You can train yourself to have more concentration that way. And then once you like reprogram your brain, you're ready for Vipassana. And we did that we literally went from like concentrating on your upper lip to your nose for 3 days straight, which is like 30 hours. 30.
Wow. Commitment.
Yeah. And it's powerful. And then you get into Vipassana meditation. And Vipassana meditation is so cool. Sensation-based meditation. And that has 4 levels. It's so cool.
Wow. So what did you take away from that 10-day experience?
Takeaway is I'm whole the way I am. I don't need to do anything to feel worthy of love. I don't need external factors. I don't need to buy anything or have anything or accomplish anything. I'm good the way I am. And anything else is kind of a bonus.
Is that, so you said that you were focusing on like one thing, and then was your mind drifting, or is that,
Oh
did you
yeah, of course it's
come
drifting.
through, did you come to the, like those realizations in those moments, or what led to it?
There were moments. I think I think there's another dynamic. It's not just like I'm internally just satisfied and don't need anything external. There's also the idea that people, in my judgment, a lot of people are scared of certain emotions, or scared of like your anger, scared of sadness, scared of shame. Shame is very toxic, obviously, and I think what it taught me is just like to just, it's like things are only bad if I react to them, right? So, and like with that being said, if I had like really uncomfortable thoughts, I felt, oh, I gotta get that to go away. I don't like that thought. Oh, as I freak out. But what it taught me is like it can only affect me if I allow it to affect me. So it's like one of the things they do is they have you think about something really uncomfortable, and you like don't react, and just kind of sit with it for a little bit, and then you kind of let go, or you think of something else. But just, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it was just a powerful moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can tell you've done like a lot of work and like a lot of thinking and finding some like inner peace and happiness. And so I guess my question would be like, what's one lesson that you would want somebody struggling, or somebody who might have been in the same place as you at one point, what's like one thing that you would want them to know after having done that kind of work yourself?
I have a few things. One is, as long as you're being authentic, you're never failing. And the other is, the more you love yourself, the more everything will take care of themselves. The more things will take care of themselves on every level. I can get into story, but just I'm gonna put it all out there. If I love myself a lot, like if someone treats me terribly, I love myself, I'm like, hold on, stop, that's not okay. Like it'll manifest. And like it's powerful. It's so powerful.
Wow. Yeah, that is, I think there's a lot of people that are looking for that kind of inner peace. So it's, I appreciate you sharing, the kind of work that you've done for others.
Another one I love is like, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody is, yeah.
I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can. I love me. I'm doing the best I can. Sometimes when I'm really stressed, I just say I'm doing the best I can. I feel so much better.
Yeah. Well, no, that's really awesome. And so back to, Jeremy Talks to Strangers in your account, and you said you've done like a bunch of different little projects within the main, account of Jeremy Talks to Strangers. So how did you come up with the, I guess, was the free hugs? Was that your first like kind of project within the account, or?
Kind of. I mean, the challenge was to make a video with a stranger every day.
Is it your challenge to yourself, or?
Yeah, my challenge myself and my mentor. I made a commitment, so I had to do it. It was just like days I didn't want to, and
yeah,
every time I did it, I felt amazing after, and I just learned just how much friendlier and amazing people are, and my brain projected people to not be as friendly as they actually are. And, I just love it.
Can you walk me through like a typical, like, every day you were going out and making a video? So what would you do to get ready, or?
That's a good question. It's something I teach in my social coaching. It's doing reps. Reps over results, commitment over emotions, or positive commitments over results. So, like for example, when I first started, I was like, hey, I'm doing a project where I have to make a video with a stranger a day. Are you open to being a part of it? And I was just like, and it was, most people were open to it. And then when I realized, when I changed my mindset, I learned to turn it into like, all right, I'm a failure, it's bad if they say no. And I changed it to like, what could I control? And that's like, I'm gonna ask this many certain amount of people, like measurable, how many people I'm gonna ask. And it's I'm not a win if they say yes or no, it's a win if I ask, right? So it's just that framing is everything, in my opinion. And then doing the reps, as I said, when I would warm up, before I would talk to someone, I would like, it resets. It's like going to the gym. If I don't go to the gym and lift weights, I'm not going to get strong. But it's the same with socialization. So before I would go and talk to a stranger, I would say hello to like 10 people in a row, 20 people in a row. And if I skipped anybody, then I'd have to start over. So like, hello, how's it going? And then I would keep it count like 1. I'd say to my head, 1. Hey, how's it going? Hello, 1, 2. And if that person gave me a dirty look, I would still celebrate it. Like 2, heck yeah.
Right. Because, the win is you putting out the effort to reach out. That's interesting.
And it works. Like, it totally works. There's days where I'm super antisocial. And then I'll just say hello to 10 people in a row. And then I go up and I do my thing. And I'm stronger. I'm ready to
change your mood after.
Oh, completely. So I used to do that when I was in the worst moods. I would go on a bike ride and say hello to like a certain amount of people in a row, and it really helps with confidence and not caring what other people think, and just reprogramming my brain to be to concentrate over what I can control rather than what's not in my control.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so I had like a week ago, I said hi to 100 people.
Really?
on the bike path.
Oh, nice.
I noticed the more I did it, it's a method. It really works. Like I can feel myself. The more hellos I say and celebrating the reps, and not how they respond, the more confident in my skin I become.
Yeah,
and
that's interesting.
Happy in the moment, like just satisfied in that moment. So I'm forced to be in the moment.
Exactly. And that's interesting that you bring that up, and like dealing with rejection and taking it as a win just for making that effort. Because the initial beginning of my project of Traveling Perspectives is I had a corporate job where I was traveling every week. So every Monday I flew somewhere across the U.S. and every Friday I came home. And so the combination of having a lot of downtime in the airport and finding myself just basically in hotels every week across the country and like not meeting a lot of new people and trying to find a way to still have some sort of interactions, throughout the week, and then also giving me something to do while I was in those hotels instead of watching like Netflix and YouTube. I put together this project, had the idea, and just decided to execute. But that first time that I actually was there, I had a Gorilla Pod tripod, my camera, and I used to put it on my suitcase as the way to balance it while I was talking to people. But the very first time that I actually went out and talked to somebody and asked them if they would be interested in helping me out with the project, they were like, no. But I said it, I was at the end of this long line of seats in the airport, waiting around. And this guy was by himself at one end and I'm at the other one. And I'm waiting, trying to find the courage to go up and just talk to him. And I was talking, telling myself, just go ahead and try it. If he says no, worst case scenario, you say no, and then you just go on and move on with your life. You probably won't meet this person.
What's important is that you gave yourself love and props for asking.
Right, exactly.
In my opinion, most people are like, "Oh my God, I'm a failure." You said no. This is dumb. Why am I doing this?
And then
not the way to go.
Exactly, yeah. And then I tried again, and the next person said no. So I got 2 no's straight up off the bat.
Good job. That's 2 reps. That's 2 reps.
I got my 2 reps in.
Yeah, get them in.
And then I was at the point where I was like, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But I'm gonna ask one more person, and if they say no, then I'm done with this project. I'll never do it again.
Wow.
And I went up to that third person and they said yes. And then the next person said yes. And the next person said yes. And it rolled on from there.
Wow.
Which is crazy because if that one person said no, I probably wouldn't be even talking to you right now.
Are you in contact with a third person?
Am I what?
Are you in contact with that third person?
I'm not, no. I was at the very beginning of the project where I didn't have a way for it to follow up. I didn't give them any business card or contact information. But that would be interesting to talk to that third person.
Yeah.
See. Yeah.
So are you doing it full time, or what's your passion project?
Yeah. So I quit my corporate job in August of last year, and then went to go teach English in Israel. Just came back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was in August of last year. And I just came back to Florida in February of this year. So I've been back home for, going on 4 months and applying for jobs in the middle of a pandemic. So
wow. What kind of job?
I'm open to anything with that'll give me health insurance. I'm interested.
So like, if you had your choice and anything is possible, what job?
Yeah. Well, my degree's in marketing. That's like where my interests are. If I could do anything for a living, yeah, I would be doing like stuff like this and like content creation. But I'm looking for something that will, I can get my own place. Right now, I'm crashing at my mom's for the moment, and then pay my bills and continue to do this kind of stuff on the side. And I think the biggest thing that I took from traveling abroad and trying to find like what my career interests are and what my passions are is like I'm feeling more motivated now than ever to kind of pursue this kind of stuff. So
yeah, same. I think it's yeah, I'm definitely a lot more motivated to do it as well. I'm looking for another like talking to strangers challenge, but lately it's been more about like the podcast and building the business around the podcast. And we're working on a merch. We hired someone on Fiverr to create like a really cool design for the Social Ninjas shirt. And then I have a bunch of other like positive psychology merch ideas I want to do.
Cool. Who made the initial logo?
My podcast partner found someone on Fiverr.
Okay.
And they made it, I believe. And then I kind of want to do my own thing. I don't know if my podcast partner wants to do it. I think he does. And that's more like kind of wearing a shirt that I made.
Oh, you made that? Oh, wow.
I made it. It's called Join Team Human.
Okay, nice.
And I just repurchased the domain name jointeamhuman.com. And I just want to do like a positive, like a space where humans celebrate our differences, and where the mindset is like bring the human race 10% closer, and we're all puzzle pieces on a larger puzzle. I just want to like build like a community of people who have that belief system and want to make shirts and clothing line and just if you wear it, you believe in humanity. Like I
spread the movement, right?
Yeah, I don't know how it looks, but I'm kind of just taking it one day at a time.
Yeah, that's all we can do. That's really awesome. So do you have any ideas for what your next like social experiment or thing you're gonna do for Jeremy Talks to Strangers?
I'm torn. I mean, I don't like. I definitely have a tendency to have shiny object syndrome, as they call it.
Okay.
Like I'll jump into something cool, and then all of a sudden I'll get like a hiccup or something happens, and I'm like, hold on, let's try something else.
Right. Yeah. So I do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nothing ever like really grows as big as it could. But as long as I'm on mission, I don't know. Like one idea was talking to someone from every single state in America.
Okay.
Which should be easy and hard for me at the same time, because I want to like talk to people in other countries. Because I've actually like gone to different men's groups around the world.
That's interesting.
I went to New Zealand. I went to Hawaii. I organized a men's group where it was men from like Paris and Belgium and all these places, and it's beautiful. It's awesome. What's possible now?
Yeah, definitely.
It's funny. I know a lot of people are lonely right now, but I think it's just they're not doing the reps. And I sometimes go into that. I used to be in my cave when I was like depressed and going through a hard time.
I know the cave well.
The cave.
Yeah.
I go to the cave and people would call me and like, leave me alone. I don't want to. I don't want to like be a burden. Other people when I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently where I'm like, is anyone open to a chat? You know, like I never did that. And it's been life changing to like be okay. You know. Not okay. And then like another realization is like if I'm going through a hard time and someone supports me and I actually help them feel better about themselves, then I'm almost doing like that was a crazy dynamic for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what you come up with next.
Yeah. Do you have a challenge you want to do?
I think for me, my challenge is like continuing to like I've been kind of up and down with this project, so the challenge is like committing and seeing it through.
What do you like most about it? Like, what do you want to bring more of in the world?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why I started this project in the first place is because I had a lot of questions myself. I was questioning if I had taken the right job, if I should be doing something else with my time. And I just realized that if, I was 23 when I started it. If me at 23 years old was asking these kinds of questions myself, I'm sure there's a lot more people who were thinking the same. So when I was asking those questions to the people in the airport, like I knew that there was an audience of people around my age who were probably thinking the same thing. So
what's your favorite question you like to ask people?
So actually that's a good segue. So I have I only have one segment on this podcast, and I ask monthly questions, so I can edit all the different answers to the people that I've talked to for the month who have answered the same question, and kind of show how different people's answers can be to the same question. And then at the end, so I have 3 questions, and I have one question I ask everybody at the end of this podcast, and that's the answer to your question, what my favorite question is. So
wow.
Yeah. So if you're cool, we can do some monthly questions.
Yeah.
And I'll leave you hanging for what my favorite question is.
Wow. No, I'm kidding.
We'll get there, don't worry.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So, all right. So the first question for this month that I'm asking is, what was your first job?
Wow. My first job.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. Does it count when I was like a kid and my neighbor hired me to clean the leaves in the yard?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It wasn't official, but it was under the table. Don't tell the government. It's like I think I was like
don't worry, I won't
7 years old,
yeah.
10 years old. But like real job, I was a server at a restaurant called Islands.
Nice.
And it was great. I didn't take it seriously. I worked with all my friends.
Was that in high school or college?
I was 18. I started 20, 18, 19.
Okay.
I was in junior college.
Nice.
And then I 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, I was around there. And it was fun. I was just like a server. I had a good time. We'd have all right, everyone, we're going out after we get off work. Absolutely, everyone's very close. It was fun.
When you were picking up leaves in people's yards, did you always have like an entrepreneurial kind of spirit, or
no?
How did that start?
I didn't, and it kind of started where I didn't. The idea of working for someone else who I don't agree with their morals or how they show up in the world, just I couldn't do it. I don't know. I like the freedom. You know, I feel like America. I think with the job culture in America, 2 months off a year is ridiculous.
If you're lucky, yeah.
If you're lucky, and it's sad. And then people there's this really big fear, which is why I taught English in Taiwan. Of I don't want to get some 9-to-5 job, get stuck in it, and then I think people have this mentality of I'm going to work my ass off, save a bunch of money, and retire, and then travel the world.
Yeah, I'd rather do the reverse.
I want to do the reverse
now. Yeah.
And there's some a lot of the coolest trips I did, adventures I did, I could not do as a retired individual.
Right.
My what's it called? I was in Philippines. In the middle of Cebu, there's a city called Malbal, something like that. I'm probably not saying it right.
I trust
Malbal,
you.
Malbal, and it's called canyoneering. And that's where you have the helmet and the life jacket, and you're just in the most insane, beautiful nature ever, and you're just jumping off of waterfalls and going down nature-made water slides, and you're just going along a river, and you're just floating, and then you're jumping off more waterfalls, and
Wow.
and then at the very end there's a huge famous, it's called Cowlison Falls. And I'm in my shoes and life vest, and this is gorgeous waterfalls called Cowlison Falls, and it was so beautiful.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I'll send you a video of it, just you got to see it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It was amazing. So like I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was older. And then like, well, I guess
now's the time. Yeah.
So I guess I could do like this long distance bicycle rides, which I still want to do. And as part of the podcast, we had a guest who was a TEDx speaker, and he was working a 9-to-5 job he hated, and he started. He's like, "What do you really enjoy?" He's like, "I love adventures and doing backpack and going to mountains and like epic hikes and climbing." So he started his own outdoor company.
Really?
And he has his own company. He challenged me and my podcast partner to go to Mount Everest with him in October.
Whoa.
So we're actually working on getting sponsorship.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
So we can go. I don't know, because there's a hesitancy, resistance that like things won't be open in October. It's probably like this whole situation is going to last 2 years, as my friend was saying yesterday. Right. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Because apparently it's going to open up. This is just what they say. It's going to open up, and then there's going to be a second wave. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But I'm excited to see.
Yeah, we put it out there. We reached out to like Red Bull and a bunch of other companies to sponsor our trip to
the adrenaline company,
Mount Everest.
Yeah.
If you know anyone sponsors, it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody like that,
but yeah, we're and they would get like exclusivity on our podcast, and we're gonna make these like daily, it's a 10 or 11 day trek to like base camp 1 Mount Everest. So we're gonna like see how we're feeling, and really get into like mental health, and just like it's great
document
PR.
The whole process.
It's literally really good PR for a company. And we're gonna call it the highest podcast ever. We're gonna record a podcast in the top of Mount Everest base camp.
Wow.
1.
That's a good goal. I like that a lot. I like that idea. All right, so next, what topic could you talk to a group about for 30 minutes with no preparation?
Self-improvement.
Self-improvement, yeah. This is kind of what we've done today a little bit, right?
Yeah, I just tend to go there. It excites me when I can show someone like a vision of what they're capable of doing they never knew was possible. It's just awesome to me. It's crazy to me how people just accept stories about themselves that aren't serving them anymore, and it's just not true. I feel like people are capable of whatever they think they're capable of. Really self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Like if you think you don't like something about yourself, or you don't like yourself, all these people can say, "Hey Harry, you're amazing," and you'll ignore them because it doesn't fit that internal story. So you're gonna like wait for that one person to say, "I don't like you," but Paul, see, people don't like me. And it's just
gotta flip that switch and find a way.
You don't have to, but like you can.
You can. It's a choice.
Like, there's no should, there's no need, there's want, and there's going to.
Yeah, that's a good mission to spread.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next one is, if you could only fly between 2 cities for the rest of your life, which cities would you choose?
That's horrible. I'd like backpacked, Europe. I backpacked Asia. I still want to backpack South America.
So let's hear your 2 favorites.
That's like, I can't do it. Let me see. Definitely Pangea.
Okay, nice.
Pangea for sure. I only need one.
I love Pangea. Yes, it's great.
That like encompasses all of them. I'm gonna choose Pangea because I can't choose. I love Asia. I love Europe. America's beautiful. I can't.
We'll catch you in Pangea, Jeremy.
I love that shirt idea.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm from Pangea.
All right, cool. Well, that's so. Those are the monthly questions, and that leads me into my favorite question to ask people. So, um, I've been thinking a lot about legacy lately, and like what kind of legacy I want to leave behind one day when I'm gone. So the question that I'm ending every podcast with is, what do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy is he created a safe space for me, for humanity to be comfortable in their own skin while inspiring and strengthening human connection with humans around the world.
Amen to that. That's awesome.
And
then I'd like trying to think about like picking like what you or thinking like what you want your legacy to be, and then living every day to fulfill that and like making that impact on people. And it sounds like you're doing exactly what you were meant to be doing. So
yeah, I definitely like bringing more joy into the world. I get excited when I make people laugh or smile or feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
I have my days. I have my bad days, and trust me.
Everybody does, man.
Oh,
yeah.
I do. And it's interesting how like every time I feel like I'm making progress, and like the old stories try to come back with a vengeance. Like, hold on, whoa,
yeah,
what are you doing? I'm trying to be successful and bring more joy.
Trying to grow
and grow and be more influential for people. Come back here.
Yeah.
That is not your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's that's the journey, right? Trying to balance both of those and going easy
on myself along the way, and not dwelling and turning the page as quickly as possible, getting up as soon as I can.
Yeah.
And just enjoying the journey as I get to my quote unquote destination. Like it is the journey. Like people always say, like, as soon as I accomplish this, I'll be happy. When it's just like, if you're not happy now, you never will be happy.
The process is the best part.
I'll get that girl, I'll be happy. I get that job, I'll be happy. Like, it's like so not true. Like being satisfied right now.
Yeah.
Is everything.
And living for today.
Yeah. Gratitude's a big one.
Ooh, huge. Well, is that your 5-minute journal? Oh, nice.
Yeah, you have it?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna give you so you don't have to buy it. It's kind of overpriced.
Oh wow.
So what you do is I'll just tell you. You can like write it out.
Okay.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Basically, you like some like window popped up. Did I do that? There you go. So you have you wake up in the morning and it's like, I'm grateful for, and you just type in there's 3 things that it has to be something within the last, it doesn't have to be more powerful. If you do something within the last 24 hours, like I'm happy and grateful for my conversation with Harry today. It was really a lot of depth. We connected. Romance is real. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. We laughed. We almost cried. Like the more detail, the better. You can kind of give 3, and then you write what would make today great. So that's like the intention almost. And then daily affirmations. You kind of looking within yourself. And you think about like the negative affirmations or things you tell yourself that aren't serving you, and then what's the opposite? And you say it with just like power.
Wow.
And then at nighttime you say 3 amazing things that happened today, and then how could I have made today even better? Not from like a shame white place, but from just like a real living your life with intention place.
I like that. That's very cool. All right. Well, I really appreciate it. It was really great to meet you. And thanks for taking the time to talk with me, man.
Thank you for being open to it, Harry.
Yeah.
Keep going and grow it. You're right here.
It, man.
You're right here.
It's just the beginning.
You can build something beautiful with this. And there's gonna be roadblocks along the way, and just like say thank you for those roadblocks. And just keep going.
I appreciate it, man. That's really that's good advice.
Yeah.
And
once you figure out that why, like really figuring out that why, I'm curious your legacy.
What my legacy is? Okay, yeah, we can do that. And so So my dad passed away when I was 14.
Sorry.
Almost 11 years to the day, actually.
It's heavy.
Yeah, from skin cancer. So,
jeez.
Yeah, so like I grew up basically just hearing stories about him, and yeah, like the childhood memories become like just memories, and I feel like I just heard like I said, like just the stories growing up. So when I think about the legacy like that I want to leave, like it might be simple, but I think about this moment in my my last corporate job, where like we got paired up for every 6 weeks we were working with people, and the very first question that you would ask your friends, like when you found out who your coworkers were going to be for that round, was like, how are they to work with? And
wow.
Like, when I think about my legacy, like I just want people to answer that question about me, like he's a good guy, like he bring he's a good person to be around, and I just want to
Ooh, hold on, Harry, I invite you to not shortchange yourself.
Well, like
he's
I said,
a good
like
person to be around. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I'm like totally playing. I'm playing hardball right now. That's what I'm doing.
No, like but it's true. Like, yeah, there's definitely more.
Yeah, it's underneath.
More depth
There's
to
more depth.
that.
You bring a lot more than that. Just being pleasant to be around. Like
in the simple form of that, like I just want to bring good energy to others.
Good energy to what?
Like a positive vibe, and like make them feel.
Okay.
Like they had a good experience.
And what will a positive vibe do for everyone you come across?
Brighten people's moods, or.
And what will brighten someone's mood give them? We'll allow them to experience
peace, ease of mind, acceptance, or
out of those, which ones feels the most? I felt an energy when you said acceptance, but you tell me I'm wrong. Yeah,
maybe like a comfortable in their own skin. Like I can bring people get to be their authentic self around.
How does that feel?
I mean, like a more full answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds very similar to mine.
Very very aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a gift to this world, and you're a gift to me. The bromance is real, brother.
The bromance is real. Right on, Jeremy. Well, yeah, like thank you so much for doing this and taking the time to talk with me.
My pleasure. Anytime. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll see you in the Instagram DMs.
That's good. Cheers.
All right, Jeremy. Have a good one.
You too.
See ya.
Thank you so much for listening to the Traveling Perspectives podcast. If you want to see content from the project on any social media platform, all you have to do is search Traveling Perspectives. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.